Hey folks, and welcome to this Valheim Let's Play. This is our group escaping the Bronze Age. I've been really enjoying this game, and I'm not sure how long this series will be, but I definitely want to do some small recaps just to maybe showcase the game and just have a chat about the journey we've been on. As you can see, there is a lovely time lapse going on in the background, and this game, although it's 500 megabytes, although it's a pixel style, it actually looks really good. And it's a game that I've not played before. I've never really played survival games before, so I've really enjoyed the process. So we began just like any other survival game, dropping in, hitting some branches, getting some wood, collecting some stuff, and eventually we were able to make a stone axe which let us chop down wood. Now once we could chop down the wood, we decided to set up a small base by the coast. We weren't really sure what the food situation was. Maybe you could fish, maybe you could hunt on the coast, so we decided to go for the coast and set up a very basic house with a very simple thatched roof. There was some mishaps where we tried to hunt our best as cavemen can do. We didn't quite have the tools to do it. We were struggling. Now eventually we did manage to capture a few animals, and using their leather and using their food, we managed to sort of evolve into slightly more advanced hunters. We had some bow and arrows, and we were able to then get some sort of ventilation going. The house kept gassing out with all of the smoke, so we needed to put a little bit of ventilation in, and then the house was taking shape. We had some chests to secure our loot, we had some beds, we had some basic accommodation, and we were feeling pretty good about ourselves. After a while, we'd collected flint, we'd hunt some birds, we got feathers, we got resin. We were able to go ahead and create fire arrows. Once we'd got sort of steady in the game, we were able to go and offer up one of these deers as a trophy and summon the boss. Now this boss was a bit of a brute. We managed to take him down with fire arrows. There was just two of us at this point playing the game, so it was just a two-man group. We were sort of kiting back, so I would pull the aggro and Logic would shoot, and occasionally I would shoot, and eventually we were able to bring him down. This was like our first big moment on the server of tackling the first boss. We definitely evolved from cavemen with sticks to fire arrow archers, and we were able to then re-offer the dead corpse of this boss
to run and jump
and gather its skills. This gave us basically a special ability that let us have effectively more stamina and ability to run. Now that we'd got a little bit more sort of secure in the game and we kind of knew what we were doing, we figured we'd go ahead and maybe move base. So watching the beautiful tree physics, we were able to chop down a load of trees and move further up north towards the Black Forest and set up a more, shall we say, stronger accommodation with walls to protect us from attacks. And we also had a few new recruits into the Way of Valheim. We were up to a 3 and 4 man group at this point, and we were able to sort of advance, and this was very good. You know, we'd be out at night chopping wood, hunting, and then we could now retreat to a much larger, safer base. You know, if this was, you know, this is no generic B&B, this is Premier Inn, you know, this is Premier Inn, this is top quality stuff. Now we had a sort of set accommodation, we were able to venture a little bit further knowing we had that safe base at home. So heading out into the Black Forest, into the woods, into the snowy areas, we were eventually able to discover some burial chambers. I can't at the moment. Now what we encountered were skeletons, ghosts, and a variety of enemies that were definitely wanting to protect something, and it turned out what they were wanting to protect was these cores. Now these dungeons have cores in them, and what we learned after capturing the cores was this was a way to smelt things and create smelters and charcoal kilns. So this was definitely a way for us to advance, and now that we knew this, we set off trying to find materials. What we did was we set off and we discovered all of these copper mines around the Black Forest, and what we did was we set up some walls and some perimeters around us to protect us, and we just began to mine down with these antler pickaxes that we'd crafted from the boss kill. So everything was syncing up nicely. There was some long nights, some rainy nights, some nights where you got attacked and you had to run off back home. But what we did was whenever we discovered copper, we would dig, we would rest up, we would eat some food and continue digging until basically the whole surrounding area was just leveled to the ground and all of the copper was gone, and then we would carry it back home. This worked really well, and we were able to get a large amount of copper and also a large amount of tin from the sort of coastal area. Now eventually we were able to craft these carts, and these carts were great. They had so much storage capacity that we were able to stay out even longer and fill the cart to the brim full of tin and copper, and I was able to forge little roads as we sort of headed in and out of the town to farm copper and tin. Now some nights were longer than others. There was definitely some dark nights, some long rainy nights, but eventually we pushed this cart back and forth until we had enough copper and tin for the entire group. You can see that these sort of areas that were taken in were completely leveled to the ground, and every bit of copper was extracted and then placed on a tin. Sometimes you can see they're having tons and tons of copper, and some fights were easy. Sometimes it was a relaxing copper farming session. Sometimes you were just harassed by a wide variety of enemies, and it was a real fun adventure, just sort of rooting around for all of the locations of the materials, protecting the farming area, and then escorting the materials out. You can see here just how much we've leveled this to the ground. This was kind of like a mountain region, and it's been completely taken to the ground with walls. And now we had enough materials and enough cores to build the smelters, and we were beginning to smelt tin and copper, and we were able to pass these materials around to learn what was able to be sort of created. Now we could create bronze armor and bronze nails. Now with this, we knew that the bronze nails and wood could create a ship. So what we focused on doing was, again, going out at night, getting as much copper and tin as we could and smelting it down until we just had ample supply basically to craft all ourselves some bronze gear. And you can see here it was beginning to churn out. So that was the game plan. Now we'd got past the sticks and swords phase, and we were ready to sort of create some bronze armor and then create some bronze nails to create a ship and maybe something in future. So we kind of made excess, but definitely what we wanted to do was head down to the coast. So what we did was we headed down to the coast, and we decided that we were going to build some sort of accommodation down here with a port, and we were going to set sail for where we believe the second boss was, across the ocean, as we discovered this whole island. And we set sail, or shall we say set up base along the coast, and we were getting there. We were ready to advance. We had Floki the builder, and all then we needed was some excess wood to go with our bronze nails, and there you go, the boat was built. So the boat was built and we were ready to really set sail, but the seas were way too rough. We didn't want to take the boat out with everything we'd got and risk being destroyed. So we set out at night on a calm 2-man mission, the dead of night where the seas were nice and calm. We began to scout ahead of where exactly were we setting off. Where did we need to go? And eventually we bumped into our location. Now when we arrived at this location, we were greeted by a sort of enormity of enemies. There was trolls, there was all kinds of stuff, there was even some killer mosquitoes, there was even goblins, and we were like, we don't just want to pull up, not be able to defend the boat and not be able to get back. So what we decided was we would sort of circle the island, figure out what was best, return back and pick up the crew, craft some arrows, and then go again in the morning for a proper arrival onto the next area. So we got the crew, we pulled up, all had our bows and arrows ready, and we were able to clear the land. And once we were able to clear the land, we could set up base, and then we had a new home. The goal then was to find more cores on this island and create a portal system back and forth between the two lands, which would make traversing the map a lot easier. So we were definitely I think we made the right decision to pull up with the full amount of people, because there was a lot of enemies here. It took a fair amount to clear it. Eventually we cleared it and we pushed on in, and we discovered yet more things. We discovered troll caves, and again new types of enemies, and even new types of tree and animal as well. There was some large like kind of buffalo looking things. There was killer mosquitoes, goblins. The goblin even dropped some black metal, so we're not sure what to do with that yet. And what we did was we cleared the island, or started to clear the island, until we stumbled across this what looks like a boss arena. So we rested up and we decided that we would build the house next to the boss arena. Now we're not sure if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but we set up the accommodation around the boss and we have built the beds, and now we're ready to sort of tackle the second boss on this era. So that was kind of us beginnings, from small beginnings with just sticks and stones, and now we're in the Bronze Age, sort of onto a new island with a boat and a sort of portal system. And I've been really enjoying this game. I think it's very fun, especially like co-op, and even solo it's been very enjoyable. So this was kind of the journey that we had so far. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you want to see more of this type of stuff, let me know. Otherwise I'll probably just continue to play it privately off stream. But if this is a video series you'd enjoy and you want to see more of, then do leave a comment and a like, as I'll be sort of gauging whether to continue the series based off some interaction on this video. So thanks very much for tuning in.